Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that?
So not only has Donald Trump signed multiple executive orders that have benefited the crypto industry, but his whole entire family is waging war against the banks. Listen to what his son said here.
Brian, it's infuriating. We had nowhere to go. Capital One stripped 300 bank accounts from me, 300 in the middle of the night. They sent us a letter after doing business for 20-something years. All your bank accounts for golf courses and condominium buildings and hotels, they're all gone in the middle of the night. I mean, how do you pay your taxes? How do you pay your employees? This happened across the board. It happened with J.P. Morgan Chase. It happened with Bank of America. It happened with First Republic. And this wasn't just happening to the Trumps, people with a lot of zeros on the end. This was happening to conservatives all over the country. We didn't have a damn choice. So before my father, won the election, before my father was in office, we started getting into cryptocurrency. The people in cryptocurrency were being debanked just like Trump was being debanked.
Right.
And you know what? It's become the fastest growing industry anywhere in the world. It's actually removed a lot of the power from the big banks who have weaponized their platforms against the American people, and I could not be more proud to be here.
So if you hold XRP, if you hold Ethereum, if you hold other altcoins like Chainlink, blue chip meme coins like Floki, Pepe, even Shiba Inu or Dogecoin, this is going to be the most important video that you watch all month long. I have a lot to share with you guys in this video that you're going to love, because Trump has been signing some of the largest executive orders in history, and it is going to cause a tsunami of trillions of dollars to flow into the crypto market. And this is not hype. This is something that Donald Trump himself is preparing for by allocating a portion of his portfolio into the crypto market. And right now is the calm before the storm, before we see the great rotation from large caps to mid caps to micro cap projects. So we're going to get into the charts for projects like XRP, Ethereum, Chainlink, Floki, Pepe, and what's taking place right now that you need to know. So comment 777 if you guys are feeling blessed. If you're feeling bullish, as always, let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So by far one of the biggest executive orders that Trump has signed is going to be allowing Americans to add Bitcoin and other altcoins into their 401ks. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is blatantly obvious here, because as of Q1 of this year, defined contribution workplace retirement plans, including 401ks, held a total of $12.2 trillion in assets, and 8.7 trillion of that was specifically in 401k plans. So this is pretty much the green light for TradFi and traditional savings for boomers that have worked jobs their whole life. A lot of people that are watching this channel, you're a blue collar worker, you've committed your whole entire life to working hard for a living, and you've been sold that 401ks are the path to go. You've passed that down to your children, who are then passing that down to their children's children. So what we're going to see now here is a shift in generational coaching, meaning what parents are now going to be passing down to their kids is going to be predictive programming from what's happening right now with these executive orders, turning this whole crypto industry from this skeptical, high-risk, volatile asset class to something that is a part and a staple of 401ks. Now, what that is also going to do is that's going to bring a much larger wave of liquidity from IRAs, which are individual retirement accounts that can consist of traditional, Roth, Simple, or SEP, and basically retirement funds, because a lot of people tuck money away for retirement. They never touch it. So what do you guys think that is going to do to the bottom line of a lot of these cryptos if it's not sold for like 30 or 40 or 50 years? Well, it's going to absolutely explode this industry. And right now, this whole industry is only at $4 trillion. So I didn't graduate from college here, but you don't need to be a mathematician to understand what type of demand that's going to create. So if we go to googletrends.com, which is pretty much tracking the searches globally, if we just filter here, worldwide rather than just the United States, and sort not based on the past day, but over the past 12 months, you can see that crypto is exploding right now. So a lot of people are wondering what's going on because they're seeing Trump talk about it virtually every single almost day, it feels like these days. And if we compare the word crypto to the word altcoins, virtually nobody knows what altcoins are. Look at crypto, it's 97 out of 100, but look at altcoins, it's 3 out of 100. So if we just remove the word crypto here, and if we look at altcoins, of the people that are researching altcoins, you can see it is spiking drastically. It was 5 out of 100 in terms of interest at the end of June, early July, and now it's projected to be over 100 out of 100. But that doesn't mean that we're at the peak yet. It just means that interest is spiking up. And relative to crypto, virtually nobody knows what altcoins are. And to put it simply, for those of you that are new, it's an alternative coin to Bitcoin. That's all it is. So it's pretty much everything other than Bitcoin. So Ethereum is the largest altcoin. Then we have XRP at number 2. So let's first talk about Ethereum and XRP, because right now Trump's crypto portfolio is 87% in Ethereum. Now, this is the crypto portfolio that can be tracked. We don't know what other portfolios he has, what other wallets are out there, but it's very clear that if the public can see that he has $192 million right here on Ethereum's blockchain, well, what does that mean for you? Well, it means that certain altcoins are going to be pumping after Ethereum, because the path to alt season is really simple. And this happens every single bull run. And we can see it happening now. Phase 1 has been Bitcoin. Money flows into Bitcoin, causing a price surge. And then there's a phase overlap here where money flows into Ethereum, but it struggles to keep up with Bitcoin. Then Ethereum goes back and forth with Bitcoin and starts outperforming it. And I've shared this in previous videos. For example, in my video yesterday, I talked about this clip right here from May 20th, where I basically broke down my expectations for Ethereum in the short term in a pullback before Ethereum broke back out and retested its high of $4,000. And now the next stop for Ethereum is essentially its all-time high at $4,800. And so we saw just that happen. That was during this whole consolidation phase for Ethereum when I made that video right there. And right after that, look at what happened to Ethereum. Exactly as predicted, it rallied all the way back up to $4,000. We saw a pullback to 3,300, and now we're seeing Ethereum rip back to the upside. So first thing we need to talk about is obviously Ethereum, because it's the largest altcoin. Right now with Ethereum, it's sitting at $4,700, pretty much retesting the high from November of 2021 compared to Bitcoin. Well, if we look at Bitcoin's price chart on the right-hand side of the screen, when Bitcoin rallied back up to the previous high of 2021, we saw massive volatility around that range and consolidation before Bitcoin broke into price discovery. So for Ethereum, experiencing this massive surge to the upside right now, my prediction, which I've been pretty spot on, I give myself a little pat on the back. I'm not right 100% of the time, but this one I was spot on about, and I believe I'm going to be spot on about what's to happen next. So Ethereum's exploded massively to the upside. Right now, would I be accumulating Ethereum at $4,700? No, I just wouldn't, because Ethereum's made its run. It would have been smart to accumulate 3,400, 2,200, or all the way down here when I was talking about this breakout on the ETH to Bitcoin price chart, sub $2,000, because we've already 2x from there. I think there's bigger risk to reward projects that have a higher reward. They're going to catch up to Ethereum, because when Bitcoin went through this handle formation right here before breaking into price discovery, I think that's going to be coming for Ethereum. Now, whether we push a little bit higher, we could push into price discovery. I think there's going to be a pullback for Ethereum and a consolidation. Obviously, we don't just go up forever. And if we zoom in here, you can see these massive green candles to the upside for Ethereum. So I would expect something like this to take place, like what happened for Bitcoin between March of 2024 to October. Depending on how long that consolidation lasts for Ethereum, we will see, but nonetheless, I would expect some type of consolidation and handle here, roughly between where we're at right now and $5,000. If we push a little bit higher, cool, great, awesome, that's incredible. That's even more bullish for what I'm going to talk about in this video. But the risk to reward, the risk for Ethereum to go to $5,000 is only 7% to the upside. To get to $6,000 is only 28% to the upside. That means if you have $10,000 and you put it into Ethereum right now, which again is not financial advice, I'm not telling you to do that, just as an example, and it goes to $6,000, well, your $10,000 is only worth $12,800. You're not changing your life there. We need to talk about some other opportunities that have higher upside than Ethereum right now. But the reason why we're talking about Ethereum is because when you look at the path to alt season here, Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin, we hear talks of the flippening phase. And if you look at this right here, Ethereum's co-founder, Joseph Lubin, is now hinting on CNBC that he believes Ethereum could flip Bitcoin within the next year or so. So we're seeing some talks about this.
Talked about the flippening, where Ether will eclipse the monetary base size of Bitcoin. Some people think that'll never happen. Some people think that'll take a few years. I think we may see astonishing things in the next year or so, especially with these treasury companies driving things.
Because at Bitcoin's current market cap, Ethereum would need to be around $20,000 to flip it. So we're in phase 2 right now with Ethereum running. We're hearing talks of the flippening happening. Now we see a money flow. What happens next? Well, this is a phase overlap. Money is starting to trickle into large caps where we see large buy-ups happening. So that brings me to XRP. We've been seeing buy-ups happen for XRP ever since beginning of July. XRP went from $2.24 up to $3.65. And now we are in this handle formation in this much more macro cup and handle. Going all the way back to January earlier this year of 2025, you can see the cup, this whole rounded bottom formation, and we are in the handle right now before we inevitably go into price discovery. I think XRP will do incredibly well. We talk about it virtually every single day on this channel. And the next move for XRP, in my opinion, to the upside will be around $5. But a lot of people have asked us, what are the other altcoins that we're going to see money start to trickle into in terms of large caps, where large buy-ups will start to happen? And this is the phase overlap as we transition from phase 2 to phase 3, where Ethereum has been outperforming Bitcoin and large caps start to go parabolic. So the first place that we need to look is where the strength is at. So if the strength is in Ethereum right now, well, underneath categories on CoinMarketCap, we would want to look under the Ethereum ecosystem, because the market cap of Ethereum's entire ecosystem is $897 billion, whereas Ethereum's market cap is $500 billion. There's a list of projects on Ethereum's blockchain that are going to absorb the majority of that capital. So what would those projects be? Well, Chainlink is one of those projects. Chainlink right now is sitting at $16 billion market cap. Its all-time high is upwards of $49, nearly $50. So it's a 2x away from its all-time high. And Chainlink has been breaking out over the past month. Now, Chainlink is essentially the backbone of the blockchain. If you guys were around for 2015, 16, 17, 18, that whole entire bull run, Chainlink was one of the main blue chip projects in that time. And it's still one of the main projects to this day. Chainlink is not going away. And Chainlink has now secured over $82 billion in Ethereum DeFi. That's almost $5 billion more than yesterday. And if you look at the announcements that Chainlink's been coming out with recently, they are absolutely massive. Swift, Euroclear, MasterCard, Clearstream, Central Bank of Brazil, JP Morgan, Intercontinental Exchange, UBS, Westpac, BNY Mellon, Citi, BNP Paribas, Franklin Templeton, Wellington Management, Fidelity International, US Bank, Lloyds Banking Group, you name it, are all working with Chainlink, where Swift and Chainlink are enabling banks to connect to blockchain using existing Swift standards and Chainlink's infrastructure. This is verifiable, guys. Where Swift and Chainlink are demonstrating a secure and scalable way to transfer tokenized assets cross-chain using Chainlink CCIP. And as you guys know in my previous videos when I talk about XRP and Ripple partners working with Swift, well, Swift has over 11,500 banks, and they're working with Chainlink to enable financial institutions to connect to any existing public and private chain using Chainlink and their existing Swift infrastructure and messaging standards. So Chainlink CCIP is used to enable the cross-chain settlement of tokenized assets across public and private blockchains, and their collaboration featured 12 plus of the world's leading financial institutions. So it's pretty much a wrap at this point. If you are a well-diversified investor, Chainlink would be a staple in your portfolio. Now, further down the list in terms of market cap, you guys can see other projects like Leo, Shiba Inu, Uniswap. For example, Shiba Inu was the main meme coin for the 2021 bull run, and Shiba Inu's market cap currently is at $8 billion. We see Uniswap right beneath it, which is the top decentralized exchange on Ethereum. So in terms of risk to reward, I still think these projects will do well as they are large caps, but I don't think the reward will be as large as some other projects that have a little bit lower market cap. So we've talked about Ondo in other videos. I'm not going to cover it in this video. Extremely bullish on Ondo. So we need to look at a phase overlap here. For example, if Ethereum's ecosystem is going to be booming with Ethereum breaking out, well, we need to look at the hottest narratives within Ethereum's ecosystem that'll absorb a lot of that capital. Now, obviously, artificial intelligence, real world assets are going to be big. But another category that's just undeniable that retail is going to flood into is exactly what they flooded into last bull run, and that's meme coins, of course. Now, the crypto industry is saturated with a lot of meme coins, so just diving in and buying any low cap meme coin that you spot is not a smart move here because we are still in phase 2 getting ready to transition to phase 3. So what we want to focus on is the large caps here first. And then as we transition into phase 4, we're going to make other videos in the next few months when we see that transition happen. But right now, we are in phase 2 to phase 3. So with that being said, there's 2 other large caps that I want to focus on right now in this video. The first one is Floki. Now, this is actually one of the favorites for meme coin investors simply because of the utility that Floki provides, but the market cap as well too is only at $1.12 billion. Now, that might seem like a lot of money for a meme coin, but when you compare it to something like Shiba Inu sitting at an $8 billion market cap, in my opinion, Floki has a lot higher upside, and I'll explain why. Now, number one, we can see in terms of contracts right here, it's on Ethereum's blockchain, but if you click this little drop down right here, you can see it's on the Binance Smart Chain as well too. And this is really important because with Ethereum breaking out right now, we can see BNB breaking out as well too, upwards of $843. So with BNB at $117 billion market cap and Ethereum at a $569 billion market cap, that allows a lot of liquidity to rotate when we transition from phase 2 over to phase 3. So when large caps start to run, we're going to see a massive resurgence within the meme coin market. And Floki is definitely going to be one of those projects that absolutely takes off. Now, we're going to look at the chart as well too. And I'm going to explain a powerful setup that's taking place right now for a double bottom trend reversal. And if this plays out, it could lead to an absolute explosion for Floki back to the previous all-time high. Now, from where we're at right now, currently, that's about 130% away. And just like I talked about this with Ethereum's price chart months ago, when Ethereum was all the way down here before this major breakout, this is a major key to understand, because if you look at this level of support right here for Ethereum at around $2,000 when it wicked off of it right here back in August of 2024, the 2nd of September of 2024, that was the same levels that Floki was wicking off of back during that same time frame right here on the left-hand side of the screen. And when Ethereum broke to the downside and bottomed out all the way down here at about $1,300. That was the exact same time that Floki bottomed out down here for the low before the recovery took place. Now, during the recovery, as you can see, Ethereum ripped to the upside above the zone that was support that acted as resistance and then came down to back test it perfectly before bouncing off of it. Whereas Floki didn't, simply because we were going from phase 1 Bitcoin over to phase 2 Ethereum. Now, when we see that transition, like I just mentioned, to phase 3 large caps, here's my prediction on the market. And we'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong, and we'll revisit this a few months from right now, like I do in tons of these different predictions. So with Ethereum experiencing this aggressive bounce on the 23rd of June and breaking to the upside off of this key zone of support right here on the right-hand side of the screen, well, in order for that to take place, Ethereum first had to clear this major zone right here to the upside to backtest it. Now, it's the same thing for Floki. We can see that this zone right here acted as major resistance while Ethereum was breaking out. Simultaneously, on that pullback, you can see Floki made a higher low, creating a very common reversal pattern, which is called the double bottom trend reversal. Now, simply put, double bottom trend reversals, they can look somewhat different, whereas bottom number 2 can be an equal bottom, it could be a lower bottom, it can also be a higher low than bottom number 1. But nonetheless, the most important area to watch is the neckline resistance for a breakout. See, you don't necessarily want to buy bottom number 1 or bottom number 2 because you don't necessarily know how low bottom number 2 will be. Because in this scenario right here on the 23rd of June of 2025, we could have continued much lower for a lower low than March, but we didn't, which shows signs of strength for the bulls stepping in to buy up Floki, which is actually a really good sign. The most important thing to watch is this neckline resistance here. So after bottom 1, the price rallies up and then gets rejected. And usually where it gets rejected from is a key level that was support on prior price action before the bearish trend. So just like I mentioned, compared to Ethereum, that was the lows of September and August of 2024, all through this level right here, which acted as resistance right here. So this is the major neckline to watch. Now, the key thing that just took place with Ethereum breaking out is Floki broke out as well too. Now there was a sell-off, but that sell-off is coming right back down into this zone as support that was once resistance. And if that zone holds, the next move to the upside is essentially a trend reversal, because a trend reversal is us putting in higher highs and higher lows than the previous trend. Because as you can see, the previous trend was just lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, the lowest low, an attempt to put in a higher high but getting rejected, which is the neckline for the double bottom trend reversal, a higher low right here than the previous low, and now a higher high than the previous high. So Floki is now starting a new uptrend. And if it holds this zone right here, the next move to the upside could be absolutely explosive to come back into these levels that we were at back here in December of 2024 and November of 2024, which is pretty much the all-time high. And it's exactly what happened to Ethereum right back here. And this would coincide perfectly with a transition from phase 2 to phase 3. And so from where we're at right now, to get back to the previous high, it's about 193% to that wick, nearly 200%. Whereas if you look at Ethereum right now, it's pretty much at the all-time high. Now, it's not to say that Ethereum won't do better. I think Ethereum's going to go into price discovery. But if Ethereum goes upwards of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, what do you guys think that means for other large cap altcoins when we transition from phase 2 to phase 3? It's a no-brainer in my opinion. And Floki has been nonstop building this entire bull run. They got 700,000 followers on Twitter. They have their Floki trading bot that they launched a while back, which makes it easy to switch between Ethereum, BNB chain, the base chain, and Solana. So you can be able to trade any project that you want. And they also have their real world asset project, which is TokenFi. Now, TokenFi did get absolutely obliterated during that sell-off, but if you understand anything about the psychology of a market cycle, this is actually incredible. It's sitting at about a $16 million market cap at under 2 cents right now. And if we just look at this chart, to the uninitiated, this doesn't look so good, but to crypto veterans, this is actually an incredibly good setup, because when I pair this next to the psychology of a market cycle, can you see anything here? Well, I don't know about you guys, but this is textbook depression stage. After anger comes depression, then what comes next? Disbelief. And so with this major sell-off right here since March of 2024, we've just been in a major downtrend. And so after a downtrend, we see the price chart find a low. And so if we just zoom in here, You can see the low right here for TokenFi at support. You can see the resistance right here at about 2.5 cents. So my expectations for TokenFi is for us to just range between resistance and support. Maybe we come back down here for a little bit longer, and then inevitably we see a resurgence in a trend change. So for a major trend reversal, I would want to see this resistance right here clear for TokenFi, and it could happen in any moment. Ultimately, I think this would take place when Floki starts to break out, because this is their project, and at only $17 million market cap. Right now from the previous all-time high, TokenFi is 1,300% away. It's a 13x. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go back there, but at only a $17 million market cap sitting at where it's sitting right now, I would not be surprised if this project explodes in Q4. And that's because they're backed by Floki. And Floki also launched their play-to-earn game called Valhalla. They now support BNB payments for their .floki domains. To lock in your Web3 identity, display NFTs, wallets, and links. You guys can check that out at hub.floki.com. Also, Floki was officially listed on the Robinhood app. As you can see right here, posted from Robinhood on August 7th, just a few days ago. So Robinhood knows what's about to happen next as retail starts to come back into the market with the resurgence on Google Trends for altcoins. And this is massive, guys, because Robinhood has 25 million users. And this was listed at the exact same time that Ondo was listed as well, too. So this was literally only 6 days ago, less than a week ago. So I think the risk-to-reward ratio for both Floki and TokenFi is actually really good. Look at the downside back to the bottom is 33% to the downside. But to the upside for TokenFi, even just back to this level right here at about 7 cents, is 382%, almost a 4x. To the previous high, just at the candle body closes, is a 10x away. So 33% risk to the downside back to the low, and a 10x back to the upside. Now, like I just said, I'm not guaranteeing it's going to go back up there for TokenFi, but at a $17 million market cap created by Floki, and Floki has a $1.1 billion market cap. Can you guys see the major disconnect in market cap there? And for the people that say market cap doesn't matter, well, yes, it does matter when liquidity flows into a project that is sub $100 million market cap, and when it's backed by a large cap project in the top 100, with Floki being at number 76. I just don't see a world in where this project does bad by Q4 of this year. Now, if it does bad, well, like I just mentioned, it's 33% to the downside back to the low, but look at the relative strength index. We're holding on top of the RSI-based moving average. We're at 43 right now. On the weekly, on this 4-hour chart right here, we can see this major descending resistance right here. Once TokenFi clears this resistance and holds it as support, this will act as the launch pad for the next major move to the upside. Because since the 22nd of June, we've been forming higher lows, coiling up in the symmetrical triangle right here. So unless something catastrophic happens to the industry and all large caps start selling off, well, as long as Ethereum continues to perform well, BNB continues to perform well, the smartest investors in the world are going to start to position themselves in the correct large caps like Floki, like Chainlink, like XRP. And then as we get ready for phase 4, just be prepared for that rotation around October, November, December into the low cap projects like TokenFi. So shout out to Floki for sponsoring this video. But as you guys obviously know, I'm just going to shoot it straight and tell you how it is. We're only going to accept sponsors on this channel if we actually believe in a project. And I think Floki is going to crush it. Now, in terms of risk to reward ratio, what's better? Something like Floki or Pepe? Well, let's talk about it. Because Pepe right now is at a $5 billion market cap, and it's on Ethereum's blockchain right here. It's not on the Binance Smart Chain, but it is listed on Binance. It's on Uniswap as well, too, and it's on Coinbase. So Pepe is another large cap blue chip meme coin, so to speak. And if we're looking at Pepe's price chart right here, we can see resistance at roughly this level that was support right here back on the 16th of December. And it also was resistance right here. It acted as resistance right here. So it's a good sign that Pepe is forming higher lows. And from where we're at right now to get back to the all-time high and the candle body close, about 116 to the wick at 130%. But just like I talked about with Floki forming a double bottom trend reversal, coming back down to backtest the neckline, well, as Pepe isn't doing that right now. As you can see, we got rejected from the zone of resistance, and now we're just coiling up in this ascending triangle. Now, an ascending triangle pattern can be a bullish pattern once we break the key resistance right here, where we see a bullish trend, we see a rising support trend line, a horizontal resistance, and then we need to see a price breakout above the horizontal resistance. And so that's what we're seeing happen for Pepe right now. You can see this horizontal resistance right here, this rising trend line, and we're just coiling up right here, waiting for a break above resistance and a potential backtest before continuing the uptrend. So I think that's coming, but I think it's going to be an overall macro liquidity event that just affects the whole industry. So if Pepe starts breaking out rapidly, I would expect other projects to be breaking out as well too. Because when the tide rises, so do all ships. Now, Pepe does have a similar following on Twitter of about 782K, but there's virtually no utility for Pepe other than the meme and the lore of it being a part of the boys club and one of the original memes alongside Brett, Andy, and Landwolf. So if you look at the roadmap right here, it's phase 1 meme, phase 2 vibe and hodl, and phase 3 meme takeover. Now, the challenge with something like this is more and more meme coins get created, we will see a dilution. For example, the dilution with Pepe is because the boys club and other projects like Brett absorbing some of the market cap. For example, Brett has about a $600 million market cap. It's on the base chain. In terms of risk to reward, something like Brett or Floki I think would be better than Pepe. For meme coins on Ethereum or the Binance Smart Chain, or a meme coin on base chain. So if I had to choose one over the other, Pepe or Floki, I would go with Floki, just simply because Pepe right here is on Ethereum. It's not on the BNB chain for PancakeSwap. The market cap is 5x what Floki's is right now. So I just don't think the reward is as great. And with BNB taking off, I think it was really smart for Floki to be cross-chain there. On top of that, if Floki takes off, then TokenFi is a leverage bet on Floki as a lower market cap, micro cap project towards the tail end of this bull run. So for me personally, just completely unbiased here as well too, I don't even hold any Pepe for that reason. Even though I do still think it'll do well because it's just simply lagging behind Total 2's chart. Because if we look right here, from the low on the 7th of April on Total 2's chart, we see this rally up for Elliott wave number 1, corrective wave number 2. To put in a higher low, we come back into this resistance, we break above it, we come back up to the complacency stage high, get rejected from it, come back down here to about 1.3 trillion, and now we're rallying even higher right now. So ultimately, I think this is going to push us to about $2 trillion for Total 2. And right now, Ethereum is leading that charge, but when that rotation takes place, like I just mentioned, we see all the top large cap projects catch up. So let me know, which projects are you guys the most bullish on? Drop them in the comments below. And if there's any other projects you want us to cover in the next video, make sure you subscribe and let us know, because we're backing up our truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, and we're all running to the top. If you guys want to see what projects our research team at Altcoin Pro University are the most bullish on as we transition from phase 2 to phase 3, then check that out in the link in the description below as well too, at altcoinpro.com. That way you can see what those projects are before everybody else. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now. Watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.